Hi there. The Palm Springs Wedding Chapel has made getting married easier than falling in love. And I'm here to tell you how it works. We're going to go through the entire elopement process from start to finish. And when we're done, I'll bet you're going to say the same thing. Wow, that's easy. So through this little video, I'm going to talk about what you're going to need, the process itself, what you can expect on your special day, some options and extras, and then we'll go over a few of the rules. So what will you need? Well, we're going to start with picture ID. And if you have been divorced within the last 24 months, you're going to actually need your divorce decree. In some cases, you will also need a birth certificate. And if you are Hispanic using a Mexican matricular consular, you're going to need a birth certificate translated into English. But the one thing you don't need is witnesses. Of course, guests are always welcome. So essentially, you're going to need legal picture identification. This is a current, not expired, passport from any country. A current, not expired, driver's license from any state in the United States. This also includes state IDs. And there are other IDs that may be used upon approval. But the best thing about this is that you only need one of the following. Now, there are occasions when you're going to need a birth certificate. So the birth certificate is required if either of your parents are unknown. That's no exceptions. It's also required if your name is not the same as your father's and you've never been married. And a birth certificate is required if you're a junior or a senior or the second or third or whatever designation. And of course, in the state of California, a birth certificate is required if you are currently in transition. If you have been divorced or your marriage has ended for some other reason, you must provide the month, day, and year of this ending date. There are no exceptions to this rule. Now, we understand that sometimes it's been so long ago that you don't really remember the exact month, day, and year. So your best guess is acceptable. And if you've been divorced within the last 24 months, you must provide court documents that contain a court stamp seal. So to begin the process, it's super simple. All you need to do is fill out the application for a marriage license on our website. Now, during that application process, you're going to be able to choose your date and your time. Should there be a conflict with that date and time, we'll reach out to you and we'll work out a date and time that works best for both of us. You'll be asked for a deposit of $150. And you can use your credit card or your checking account with PayPal. Once we receive that deposit, you'll be sent a contract. And that contract will contain some next steps. Additionally, you're also going to receive a calendar event. This calendar event is going to be used to communicate to you throughout the marriage process. So anytime we have a question, or we need to communicate a change, or make an update, add a vendor, we will use the calendar event to communicate that change. So it's very important that you accept it. Once you receive your contract, you will be asked to send copies of your picture IDs. And in some cases, copies of birth certificates will also be required. It is best to simply take a cell phone shot of that picture ID and attach it to the contract return email and send it that way. That way we are sure to get a clear, visible copy of your picture ID. This is used to validate the information that you provided on your application. Birth certificates, as previously discussed, may also be required, and you may also take a cell phone picture of those And it is also appropriate if you wanted to scan it, save it as a JPEG or PDF, and attach it to the same email with the contract. That's perfectly fine. In rare cases, we will accept a faxed item. But the drawback about the faxed item is that most of your picture IDs and birth certificates have some sort of color in the background. And it is important that the document be legible when we receive it. Since color sometimes translates as gray, there are times where the document is completely illegible and is unacceptable, and we are unable to process the marriage license information or validate prior to your arrival. So we caution you that email and cell phone is the preferred and best method. So your big day is here. So what should you expect when you get to the chapel? Well, we want to remind you that all packages include use of the change room. So we have 3 packages: the standard, the special, and the deluxe. The standard package is our typical package. It includes 30 minutes of paperwork prior to a 15-minute wedding ceremony, and then there's 15 minutes left over for cell phone pictures. The special package has been designed for people who need or want more time in the chapel and less time doing paperwork on their special day. Essentially, this also includes the bride and groom special entrance. That's the entrance where the bride has been secluded and the groom has not seen her. And she can make an entrance either from the change room in the back of the chapel, which is quite lovely, or from outside on the patio. And the cost for this special package is an additional $50. The deluxe package is an additional $150, but it allows you with some beautiful perks. You get your choice of flowers and decorations on the chairs, and if additional seating is needed for up to 30 people, that can also be included. And, of course, this also includes the bride and groom special entrance. The same time allotment is applied to the deluxe package as it does the special package. Your paperwork is scheduled on a different day. You have 15 minutes of ceremony and 45 minutes of family, friends, and guests. It's actually a perfect package. Now, as easy as we have made it, ceremonies are still only performed by appointment only. On rare occasions, we do walk-in weddings, but there is still a process by which the application must be completed electronically, and the same review process must occur. And all the same rules or requirements are needed, even for walk-in weddings. There's no food or drink at all allowed in the chapel. This means there's no coffee, no soda pops, no sippy cups, no baby drinks, and no alcohol. Although we do allow champagne and cake toast out on the patio. So please speak to your Palm Springs Wedding Chapel consultant for further details on use of the patio. There's no fresh flower petals allowed on the carpet flooring. We only allow silk. Now we do allow fresh bouquets and arrangements. Those are perfectly acceptable. But what happens with fresh petals is that they actually get ground into the carpet, and depending on the color of the flower petal, it can leave a terrible stain. Redecorating may only be done with the deluxe package. So otherwise, the chapel flowers are changed by season. And there are no pets allowed, and that's no exceptions. When a couple brings their own marriage license, and that marriage license is a public license, it requires witnesses. The Palm Springs Wedding Chapel does not provide witnesses. So if you are in a position where it's just the two of you, you have a public license, and a witness is required, I would highly recommend securing a photographer for an elopement package for 2. He can act as your witness. Now, chapel use is also billed by 1 hour. Any additional time in the chapel can be billed to you for $200 per hour. Children, of course, are always welcome. but they must be attended by an adult at all times. Now, the Palm Springs Wedding Chapel does not have a sound system. We do highly recommend that wedding couples use either a cell phone or iPad or iPhone, along with a remote speaker and someone to operate it. Your minister will not be able to operate the music. Well, we're at the end of our little video. As I said, it's very easy. Picture ID, a birth certificate, and the will to say I do, and we can marry you. If you have any further questions about the packages or anything I've discussed here in this little video, please call us. Our Palm Springs Wedding Chapel consultants are here to help and ready to answer questions. Thanks again, and thanks for choosing the Palm Springs Wedding Chapel.